Often when we think of seeing wildlife, we think of the Serengeti or the Amazon, great swathes of greenery and wild places. But the natural world, while diminishing in many regards, still surrounds us and works its way back into little pockets within our cities while we're not watching.
Most of us think that to appreciate or even witness the natural world, you'd have to go out on safari or trek through the mountains. But you'd be astonished with how much wildlife you can find close to home if you have a little patience and some curiosity. Urban wildlife is probably one of the most overlooked sources of real-world wildlife there is. Either you see some of it regularly and you've become desensitized to it, or you're simply not expecting to see it, so you don't notice it. But it is there, and it's unfolding every day. At our local parks, the ponds, the streams, and even in our gardens. So when we stop to notice or keep an eye out, you'll see we really are surrounded by an urban wildlife. The local rivers and parks are always an excellent place to find wildlife, especially those with wildflower meadows. Many of them are right on your doorstep, and you can pass through them on your way to work or when walking a four-legged friend. Birds are of course a reliable find in these areas, and without too much trouble you can see finches, water hens, blackbirds, and wagtails, all of them harvesting the bounties of spring. Now in late spring, you can even be lucky enough to see this season's newborns sticking close to their mother, or even taking a rest riding up on her back. These ducklings are only about a week old, but they're already learning the best places to find an easy meal. The shallow rapids of the weir are an excellent place for them to start learning to feed independently, where the oxygen-rich waters are filled with small insects and algae, and the rapids are just shallow and gentle enough not to wash them away. Though mother duck will still have to keep a careful eye on them, especially out in the open like this. A mother duck may lay 12 eggs and start the season with a dozen ducklings. However, the chances of them making it through their first year are slim, with maybe only 10% of this year's offspring making it. The little ducklings are food for a variety of predators, including badgers, rats, herons, and of course, foxes. This one has picked up the scent of a group of ducklings that passed through only an hour beforehand. The scent is still strong, so the fox continues to search, hoping that perhaps even one may have been left behind. Ducks make up a significant portion of a fox's diet, and they can take 5 or 6 ducklings in one go if they chance upon them together. But none such luck this morning. The ducklings still need to come to land to rest and warm back up. Resting close to the water on an overhanging tree branch, they can retreat to the water at a moment's notice, and with a fox in the area, it's wise not to linger. After a warm bask in the sun, it's time to get back to the safety of the water. Mum goes first and beckons them forward. but it seems the little ducklings are hesitant to get back in the cold water. But when one finally goes, the rest follow suit. Some less enthusiastic than others. All ducklings accounted for. But danger can still come from the water, and suddenly the brood scatter in panic. The ducklings are vulnerable on their own, and much easier to target. So once the cause for alarm has passed, they regroup. But in the confusion, a few have been separated, and are trying to hide in the leaves of a fallen branch. Frightened and unsure what to do, they call for their mother. But she doesn't seem to hear them. But their calls are being heard by someone else. Someone silent and stealthy. Parents don't often go for ducklings, but they're opportunistic feeders and will snatch up a small duckling if left unattended. They need to get back to their mother quickly, or they may not live out the day. Fortunately for the little ducklings, their mother eventually hears them, as she escorts the rest of the brood over and regathers the small flock. The little ducklings have made it through another day, and it's time to lead them away to somewhere a little more secluded.